His forgotten home. Alize is pondering how best to make use of your reprieve from the tedium of negotiations. All right, for want of a better suggestion, what say you to a brief tour of the newly liberated Doma? I'd be interested to hear how the people are faring in their own words. And it's not as if we'll be missed here. Or will we? Lavenza, a moment, if you would. Ah, Yugiri and Asahi, was it? You have some business with Lavenza? Business? No. Pleasure, my lady. I merely wish to exchange a few words with the famed slayer of gods and champion of Eorzea. It is truly an honor. Such heartfelt admiration, one could almost forget that you're an envoy of the Empire. Oh, is that so strange? We may have stood on opposing sides in the past, but I see no contradiction in lauding the woman who would do battle with our common enemy. Unless you forget this is my homeland, it would be remiss of me not to at least thank her for containing the threat posed by the Kojin's vile icon. Now, if I may continue, as we speak, Lord Hien deliberates over my proposal, and I would take this time to see the land I once called home. Well, isn't that convenient? Alize was thinking the same thing. Though Lady Yugiri is certain to be a jovial escort, the excursion would be all the more enjoyable for your company, and safer besides. The ambassador has the right of it. He is not like to come to harm with you at his side. Will you join us? What will you say? Would be my pleasure. I am quite sure he will be safe with you, Yugiri. Well, I know I'm going to end up having to go along with it, so I'll grin and bear it, as it were. In that case, I will join you as well. There is naught else to do until Lord Hien has reached his decision, and I can think of no finer way to learn more about the current state of Doma. It's settled then. The four of us shall make a brief excursion through Yangsha. Might we start at the town of Monson? I would see what has become of Doma Castle. Very well, if you will follow me. That got me thinking. I wonder if they'll ever go back and fix up Doma Castle and whatnot. It would be interesting. Well, I was gonna say if they ever went back to doing hard modes. To do like a Doma Castle hard mode after it's been fixed back up, but I don't know what they would do there. Like, that would be combat. Unless they did like another Hullbreaker Island kind of thing, where it's like, oh, now it's training missions, but why you would do training missions in the castle, I don't know. I was trying to think earlier of what dungeons there are in the MSQ, and I know that's one of them. I think the only other one I can think of at present is Gimlet Dark. It's much easier with Shadowbringers just because you know all the dungeons, or at least all the dungeons during the leveling content are a part of the MSQ. But I think even in the patches they are. It's just, I think maybe max level, because I don't think the twinning is a part of MSQ. I'll admit, I was hoping for a more leisurely trip around Yanxia, but if it's a choice between this and listening to my brother rambling on, well, here I am. Would that something could be done about these mechanical soldiers? Just let me take them out real quick. And the giant Namazu over there. I don't know that I could solo him, though. I don't know what rank he is. Clearly, he's got to be a hunt mark, though. Nay, can this truly be Monsen, home to the cream of Doma's samurai? I had heard that Yotsuyu intended to send some few of our automata here, but only by way of warning. It should not have come to this. Indeed, her savageries served only to incense the people and spur them to rise up in protest. It was folly to think such methods of governance could ever prove effective. I think I was rewatching somebody else go through this content recently, and you know, the earlier stuff, and Yotsuyu had said it was, I think, her brother that like sold her off to get married or whatever. So her brother is, you know, I mean, clearly one of the shitty ones that they, if you didn't pay attention to that line, I don't know that you would know that quite yet. But, you know, this whole act he's putting on, he's just a very unlikable character. The sooner we can begin to make amends for this senseless destruction, the better. Securing supplies and support for the construction effort should not prove difficult. Once our nations are formally at peace, of course. Yes, of course. If you would have a better view of what remains of the castle, we must proceed through the ruins. I don't believe for one moment that he came to see the sights of Yanxia. The question, what did he come for? Alize is smart enough to know that he's up to something. Lord Hien would often come here to gaze at the castle. He was but one of many to take inspiration from its majesty. It is a travesty. A travesty. I remember the keep being so beautiful. In the light of the setting sun, one would swear it was aflame. It is indeed a doleful spectacle. Mayhap we will rebuild it one day, when we have finished helping our people to rebuild their lives. Spoken like a true popularis, the needs of the people must of course come first. Speaking of whom, would you be opposed to my seeing how they live firsthand? The village of Namai is but a short journey from here, if I'm not mistaken. By river, yes. If you will follow me, I will ready our boat. It's got me thinking, too, so he's a part of the Popularis. I don't even remember if that's a real faction. I think it is. But he's not Garlean. So, realistically, like, he doesn't have any power or say for the most part. So even him being out here is kind of strange. This excursion has proven to be more relaxing than I expected. It has been some time since I last visited Namai. Yet Ise often visits the Enclave with young Azami. So we do not want for news from the village. Okay, it looks like we're about to fight somebody. Ready to cast off? I wonder who we could possibly fight if we have an Imperial with us.
Get back! I'm warning you!
Uh-oh. Locals, maybe.
Someone's in trouble.
Oh, it's not even attacking us. It's somebody else getting attacked or something. Oh, Kojin of the Red attacking locals. Okay.
Are you all right? Hi.
What do they want with you?
Yuki, and you lot too. I don't know. We were returning from the Enclave when they came at us.
It seems they won't go quietly.
And neither will we.
Kill them all. So he chooses... I noted he didn't say anything when asked. I will not let you harm these innocents. But yeah, none of the Kojin said anything when asked. And now suddenly he has something to say. I grow tired of these games. Where are our reinforcements? All this for 2 children? What do they even want with them? They mean to overwhelm us. See to their reinforcements, quickly. Now, aim for the younglings. Okay, these guys go down easier. Okay, now I need to get away from people. If they would call for reinforcements, they will call for reinforcements, then so shall we. Okay, that may have been overkill. Hold your ground. I will try to draw away their reinforcements.
That seems to be the last of them. You have nothing to fear, child. You are safe now.
Thank you, sir.
You saved us again. Thank you. If you're ever passing by our village, look us up. You'll always be welcome.
Thank goodness we arrived when we did.
Indeed. But what could have prompted the Red Kojin to stray so far from the Ruby Sea?
Probably by orders of Asahi.
I presume these are the sellswords hired by Yotsuyu. If so, the answer is simple. Desperation. Bereft of imperial employment, they seek other means to line their coin purses. Another sad legacy of the Empire's mismanagement.
The Empire to which you have sworn allegiance.
Must you always be so pointed? If we are to bring about lasting change, we must look beyond narrow allegiances. You have every right to doubt me, but in time, I hope you will come to see that we share a common goal. You and yours have fought fiercely to change the Empire from without, but if we are to end the cycle of conflict, the Empire must change from within. Am I wrong?
Not about that. True reform can only come from within. The Empire will never change. It will, mostly through crumbling. From within. Coincidentally enough.
I knew you would understand. You have witnessed such change firsthand, after all, during your time in Ishgard.
I'm actually wondering now what his... I don't recall what his motivations are. I know eventually he's the catalyst or whatever for turning Yotsuyu again. But I don't remember like why he wanted to do that other than, I don't know, another vain attempt at trying to take down the Warrior of Light. Quite the swordsman, isn't he? I wonder, did the Empire train him to kill before or after appointing him ambassador? The Red Kojin's presence here does not bode well. We must inform Lord Hien. I also wonder what Asahi's thoughts of Doma are. Because I would think he doesn't feel as much hatred toward his own people as Yotsuyu does. I don't know. I think of him more now as Fandaniel, who's just completely off of his rocker. At least as far as we know. So Asahi himself, I'm forgetting a lot of the details. Dear me, I had hoped to convey my views on our nation's shared hopes under more peaceable circumstances. Yet this regrettable little interlude did afford me a chance to see the famed hero of Eorzea in action, and few Imperial soldiers can say that, at least few who live to tell the tale. A guilty conscience. Asahi has had his fill of adventure for one day. Well, After that little ordeal, I believe it may be time for us to return to the Enclave. Return, my lord? But what of Namai? You seem so eager to observe the villagers going about their daily lives. To be frank, I still am, but I rather doubt the good people of Namai would take kindly to the sight of a man in imperial uniform with blood still dripping from his blade. Even in your company, my presence would only prove a distraction. Plus, likely, Namai was never actually part of his plan. I'm sure he did set up the Kojin. And I mean, my guess is it was purely just to try to further ingratiate himself to us, you know, by fighting by our side. Fret not, however. Thanks to the three of you, I have seen a great deal more than I otherwise would. And with any luck, Lord Hien will have finished considering my proposal by the time we return. Interesting view. You know, sunset like this. It's interesting how I feel more inclined to like look around now than I did the first time through. You know, really appreciate, I think, the finer details versus just, oh, I didn't even... I didn't know that that was just... I saw the symbol on the map, so I said, oh, Yugiri's actually on the map. Otherwise, I would have just teleported here. I trust you will inform Lord Hien of our encounter with the Red Kojin. If we are to deter them from encroaching on Yangsha, our response must be swift and decisive. If nothing else, he just wants to start stuff with them. I understand you served as the ambassador's escort. My thanks. Did you see the sincerity in his eyes when he spoke with Azami? I feel strange saying this, but what if he truly has come to sue for peace? Yeah. Thank you again for agreeing to join me. If not for your aid, the Kojin may well have overwhelmed us. Pray, go on ahead. Lord Hien is expecting you. I will remain without and keep watch over our guest. Well, we had best not keep him waiting. Lord Hien was quite insistent that you join him. Pray, go on ahead. I will keep watch over the ambassador. You are expected, my lady. Shall I show you in? Judging by the sparkle in Alphino's eyes, their discussion was riveting. How sorry I am to have missed it. Aren't we all? Master Alphino has shared with us his knowledge of the icons and reminded us of the threat they pose in so doing. It is strangely comforting to know the Empire shares our concern. Feeling refreshed, I trust. We have considered the ramifications of this proposal from every angle, and I believe Lord Hien has reached a decision. Welcome back, my friend. Yugiri tells me you accompanied her and Asahi on a tour of Yangsha. I had hoped you might take the opportunity to recover from your exertions at Sakazuki. But I gather your time was well spent. Until the ambassador affords Yugiri a chance to make a full report, however, I must rely on you to supply the details. So please, tell us how it all unfolded. The Red Kojin, here? Have there been any other such incidents since the liberation? Only one that I am aware of. If they are planning some new venture here in Yangsha, we will need to increase patrols. In any event, I am indebted to you for fighting them off. But tell me, and don't be modest, was Asahi truly the first to leap to the youngster's aid? He was. I was quick to doubt him when we first met, but his desire to save them seemed quite genuine. It's possible he truly believes what he says. Again, all the more just to convince us. In the time I've known you, you have always been an excellent judge of character. What do you make of the ambassador? He may very well be an honest man. I still don't think he can be trusted. See, and again, this is the interesting thing going through it a second time. Do you go at it as if it were your first, or do you go at it with the knowledge that you have now? Sometimes I feel compelled to go at it like it's my first time. You know, as if I don't have knowledge of what's to come, but in this case, I think I want to go at it like I at least have a better idea of what's going on. So I still don't think he can be trusted. I probably originally said he seems like a good person, or whatever that option is. Then the question of what his true intention may be remains. Regardless of his aim, I am resigned to play his game, for now at least. Well, forswearing summoning should be simple enough, considering you never dabbled in it in the first place, which just leaves the somewhat thornier question of how to police the Red Kojin. It was with that very question in mind that I sought Alphino's counsel. Thanks to his knowledge of the icons and the rituals used to invoke them, I believe we've identified a workable solution. As you will recall, Susanoo was summoned forth using the power of relics locked away in the Kojin's treasure vault on the Isle of Zeki. Though said relics remain there to this day, it is all but certain that the act of summoning exhausted their stores of aether, making subsequent summonings impossible. Assuming that is the case, preventing the primal's return rests on denying the Red Kojin the means to amass new stores of aether, either via the acquisition of crystals or the relics they are wont to collect. Yeah, that just got me thinking, because I don't recall seeing large stores of crystals there. So he was saying that Susanoo was summoned from the collective ether of all the treasure in there. And that summoning used all that up, I think. I think that's what he was saying. For this, I plan to enlist the aid of our friends the Blue Kojin. Since Doma's liberation, we have forged closer bonds with Bunchin and his people, and with their support, I am quite confident we can keep the Red from obtaining what they require to call upon this Susanoo. But the question is, I mean, they're definitely not going to be cool with preventing them from collecting relics. So the best you can really do is prevent them from collecting crystals, which would certainly slow down the chances of them resummoning, but not entirely nix it. And what of the prisoners? They will be exchanged as agreed, and I will give full credit to Asahi for the success of the transaction. If there's aught we can do to help the Popularis garner favor, I mean to see it done. But what to do with Yugiri? But first I have some unfinished business to attend to. Would you all come with me? Yes, of course, but what manner of business? A past mistake which I would see put right, one which has weighed heavy on my mind. What could this be about?
I had her brought here in secret while the three of you kept our guest company. The world has not been kind to you, it is true. But that does not excuse your sins. You should be at the bottom of the river. Yet here you are, the living, breathing proof of my failure. A failure for which I would now make amends.
What did I do? I don't remember. Was it really so terrible? Tell me, please! What did I do?
You speak of sins, my lord. But at whose feet do those sins lie? With the soldiers who committed the crimes, or those who commanded them to do so? With both, I would say. For all have a conscience, and all must choose. But with no memory of who she is, or what she has done, what sin remains to be cleansed?
You ask that I show mercy.
I ask why the heavens saw fit to deny me my rest. Why Yotsuyu was spared not only death, but the bitter memories of her life.
You truly think it the will of the Kami? If so, her life is not mine to take. It is yours to safeguard. Come the hour of the exchange, if her memories have not returned, she may remain here in Doma to live out her days as Tsuyu. But if they do, the Guardians shall have their viceroy. Though the people will protest, they will come to accept my decision when they have been reunited with their loved ones.
Thank you, my lord.
Now then, I believe we have kept our guest waiting long enough. Did Gosetsu not seem strange to you? His sympathy for Yotsuyu apart, I mean.
Not that I can think of.
I know his powers of endurance only too well, but after all he has suffered, even he should not be on his feet. He puts on a brave face for our sakes, but it would not surprise me if he lacked the strength to raise his blade. Though I suppose if he and Yotsuyu are to enjoy a life of peace and quiet, he will have little use for it. It falls to us to shape that future, one in which he need never again set foot on the battlefield.
So maybe I just wasn't quite picking up the wording correctly on that. Was he saying it was strange that he was not on his feet? Like he should be on his feet? But no, it was saying that given everything he's gone through, he should not be on his feet. I don't know. Maybe I'll look at the dialogue there again. But I find it, I've been waiting to talk about the Yatsuyu stuff, and I guess this was as good a place as any, is I find her story fascinating in just the, I don't know, moral, ethical implications of essentially punishing somebody with amnesia for things they did before they forgot everything. It's just, it's interesting. And I think they did a good job of making her a truly horrific person beforehand. That, you know, you wouldn't question. At least punishing them in some way. You know, you can maybe question the exact punishment, but that they should be punished in some way. But the fact that she now doesn't remember, you know, and again, questions of, you know, like, is it really are you looking for punishment or rehabilitation? But even then, both, you know, to punish somebody that doesn't remember what they did. I mean, the punishment is kind of pointless. It's almost like punishing somebody else for something another person did. And then obviously, for the sake of rehabilitation, if you don't know what you did wrong to begin with, you know, you can't really be rehabilitated. It's just, it's really interesting. You know, especially when you think about the parallels between Yatsuyu and Fordola. And Fordola's is obviously different because she remembers what she did. But, you know, obviously in her case, it's not the ethics, I guess, in it. It's the, well, I mean, there's still obviously ethics when it comes to punishment and certainly like execution, but the idea that Fordola still has something to give. And particularly, I mean, because she has the resonant, which is effectively the echo, she has a lot she can give back. You know, it's one of those instances where you can maybe never fully redeem or repay or make right the wrongs you've done, but you can certainly still do a lot of good if you're willing. It's all just very interesting to me. I think they've done a great job with both of those characters and bringing those questions, you know, to the forefront or whatever. Thank you all for watching this video. Tonight's stream was spectacular. We actually went a little bit longer than normal just to finish off 4.3 because the story is just so good. I remembered liking the Yatsuyu story, but I think I liked it even more now, just picking up on more details that I either forgot or just didn't pick up on the last time. But just so good, so good. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to join me live, then the link to my Twitch is down below. Thank you again for watching. Have a great one.